Good evening and welcome to the Norwalk Board of Education Facilities Committee meeting. Today is Wednesday, November 29th, and the time is 6:03 p.m. Tonight, I am joined by fellow board members Diana Carpio and Ashley Gulias, as well as members of the Norwalk Public Schools facilities team. So thank you everybody for joining us this evening. To get us started here, I would like to move forward with approving the minutes from our October meeting, October 25th. As we only had 2 people in attendance at that meeting, myself and Colin Hostin, and given Colin is not here this evening, I will make a motion to approve those minutes as I did review them and am able to approve them. And now at this time, I would like to open the floor for public comments. Do we have anybody on the line for public comments? Nobody on the line?
No one on the line.
And I did not see anything come through into Board of Ed comments inbox either, correct?
No, there were none. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Well, then with that, we can move into the project updates portion of our meeting. And I will hand it over to you, Sandra.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you,
Sure.
Karen. Welcome, Ashley. Excited to have you on our facilities committee. And
Absolutely.
Diana, as always, thank you so much for being here and for giving us the opportunity to provide you some updates and then ask you in return for some approvals that we will need for some time-sensitive things that we need to submit to various agencies, state agencies at that. With that, we're going to begin. The first project update that we have is for Cranberry School. And I believe that, Dan, are you going to be providing that update?
Yeah, I got a quick update from Mike, so I'll share that quickly. Mm-hmm. The new parking lot in the location of the old school is ongoing right now, and that will be completed and turned over by 12/18. Also, in the school, minor punch list items for furniture and building related items are ongoing. And then next year, depending on the weather, the completion of the softball field will be scheduled. And that's what we have for Cranberry.
We're making nice progress. We actually have some photos up on our social media if you get a chance. Thank you so much. With that, any questions regarding Cranberry right now, just in the progress? Okay.
I assume everybody's moved in nicely and getting familiar with the building and super excited to be there and everything's comfortable and well.
Absolutely. We'll have to give Ashley a tour so we can arrange for that. Absolutely.
You should see it, Ashley. It's really beautiful.
Really beautiful.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Joanne to give us an update on the HVAC grant. It's been actually something that we've gotten quite a bit of publicity on. So hopefully, if you have questions regarding anything that you hear today or that you have read, this would be the opportunity.
Yes, thank you. Yes, in the process of pulling together all of the many documents and literature that we need to put into the state bid. We are putting forward 6 separate bids together, or we have to do them separately because they're 6 separate projects, and they'll be looked at that way as well. So we could get 1, we could get 2, we can get any number there, depending on what they receive from other school districts, obviously, and the need. So there is quite a bit of state and federal money out there to be split up across the state. So we're hoping to get at least a few of these projects to move forward so that it could help, the school districts in need. So as of right now, the bids are due by the end of December. I am hopeful that we will have everything in and processed before December 15th. That's my goal, so that no one is getting bothered or called or emailed during the holiday break, as school people would like to take that off, I'm sure. And Bill would like to not be bothered by me. So I have been all of the Board of Education staff members to make sure that we get all of the the materials in and we make it the best that we can make it so that we get the greatest opportunity.
Mhm.
So
Just a
that's-
reminder, the 6 sites are Brian McMahon, Brookside Elementary School, Marvin Elementary School, Naramek Elementary School, Silvermine, and Rowayton. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, those are the 6. Okay, those are the
Yes.
bids that we're going for.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Any questions? Okay.
No, but
Okay.
it was nice to see the press around it in the hour.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a monumental task. So we thank Joanne, and I know
Yes.
Bill's been
Yes.
working alongside him. So thank you,
Absolutely.
Joanne and Bill. And with that, we're going to turn it back over to Dan. Dan, are you providing the Norwalk High School P-TECH project update?
Yeah, I can do that. So Norwalk High School, we received approval from the state to go out to bid on November 3rd. That bid was posted and advertised on November 20th. So we're currently out to bid, fielding RFIs and following up on that process. Bids are due on January 4th. From there will be scope reviews. The GMP will be finalized. That's anticipated to be approved in early February, allowing construction, or at least mobilization, to get on site starting in the very end of February, early March. And another note is we've reestablished the building advisory committee. There's a meeting scheduled for next week, and that will be meeting as required throughout the building construction.
It's December 7th, we will be meeting with the building advisory. We reached out to Dr. Moore and Dr. Black to make sure that all of the committee members were current, because the last one had sort of dated itself. Oh, Colin joined us. Great. Okay. And do you want me to continue? Hi, Colin. Okay. I think
Yeah, I'll
Dan,
let,
you want to let Colin. Hi, Colin. Nice to see you.
let the record reflect that Colin Hostin joined at 6:10.
Dan, are you providing also the update on, any questions regarding going out to bid or any of those dates?
So I just had one, I guess, comment. So I think at our last meeting, when we were talking about when we would be breaking ground, kind of starting work, we said early February. And now are we talking late February, early March for breaking ground?
That we will be on site in
Okay.
February 2024.
Maybe breaking ground isn't the right term, but is the schedule, are we
You
slipping
want to
things out?
explain, Dan, the schedule?
Sorry, I'm watching 2 children. It was hard to hear everything.
You could correct me if I'm wrong. I could give it a shot. I think
Yeah.
that you'll start to see people mobilize and be on ground on February 2024.
Okay.
And then the first breaking ground, which is sort of this lower parking lot area that we're setting up. Am I correct, Dan? And the fencing and that type
Yep.
of stuff.
So
When will
the
that
first
occur?
thing- First thing, we should start to see that in middle of February. And that would be mobilization, setting up fencing. We need to do that extension of the temporary parking before we take away parking.
Ah,
So the
Okay.
plan is to
But
be,
I think it's breaking ground, but it's not the breaking ground in the way that I
right,
think.
like the
Vermont
actual
picture it.
shovels
Yeah.
are going in the ground.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
like to
So-
say mobilization. So you'll start to see
Okay.
activity. It might be someone putting survey stakes in. It might be spray painting lines. It might
Got
not be
it.
as exciting
So
as
it's like-
equipment and fencing and construction.
okay.
But-
It's like the prep work
Yeah.
that you have to do.
Yep.
Okay.
That's still on schedule. That's on
Got it.
schedule in terms of what we had communicated
Okay.
during the last one.
All right,
Yeah,
great.
but it also means the football field will be out of use, right, Dan? Yeah. Will be
Correct. At that
specially
time.
construction,
And-
yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. Dan, do you want to give us a quick update in Sono while everyone's still quiet?
Yep. Yeah, they're
Wait,
quick.
wait. One quick
sure.
question. So that means the track won't be available for the public at all at the same time that the football field's not, correct?
Yeah, as soon as we're mobilized and temporary fence goes up and that becomes a construction area, it won't be accessible to the public. There probably will be, like I said, they'll have to mark it out. They'll start on one end, they'll start to do fencing. They'll come a clear point where they take over that area and it's no longer accessible.
Okay, thank you.
But Diana, you raise a point, which is also that the track and field will not be available for track and field in the spring.
But I'm thinking of the communication part to the
Yeah,
public. There's a lot
we're
of
actually
families.
working. Yeah, we're working. That's part of the charge of the building committee for our first meeting, which is coming up, is that communications piece and making sure that it's not just for the Norwalk High community, but the community at large, because recreations and parks and all the other people that enjoy the track and the various places on campus, that we're letting people know that we're mobilizing and what that means in terms of accessibility.
What is the plan for track and field in the spring? Where will they be able to practice and compete?
They have, we have worked it out that they will be at Brian McMahon.
Okay.
The coach is actually pretty flexible and they only really need to go over there a day or two at the most. You know, he's being creative, using other spaces and other other areas to do different types of work, and mostly probably there for sprints and some things like that. So,
and what will they do the other days? Because track and field practices were daily.
Yeah, like I said, the coach is gonna kind of use creativity on using other areas. So long distance runners might be on a different trail, or but he didn't feel the need to be there 5 days a week. But the option was there. So I know that Doug and John have worked that out with their track coaches to either practice together, practice coincide, switch, running and field events, that kind of thing. So we worked that out kind of right soon after I got here. So it's been almost a year. We talked about that. So
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
no problem.
Okay, Dan, do you want to go into Sono?
Yep. Quick update on Sono. You may have noticed there's an item on the agenda tonight for moving the approval of the drawing, specs, and estimate forward to land use, who acts as the building committee for City of Norwalk projects for approval. And that approval will take place next week. I believe that's the 5th. And we also have those same documents under review with the local authorities. So that's the building department, fire marshal, and Department of Health, where they will sign off the same document that Board of Ed signs off on for our submission to the state, which we are scheduled for our pre-bid conformance review. We call it the PCR meeting on December 7th. And from there, it usually takes about a week for them to review all the documentation and get back to us approving the plans for bid. So we will, with that approval, hopefully we get that right before the holidays. Otherwise, right afterwards, we'll go out to bid for the project. And bids are coming back. I don't have the date in front of me. I believe it's the very end of January. And then the GMP will be finalized for February next year.
Okay, so that's one of the items that we will be moving forward. That concludes our updates, unless you needed additional information on any of these updates. And then there were some actions that we wanted to speak with you about. If you needed us to give you additional information on some of those projects, we're happy to, and Bill can speak to some of the other action items.
Yeah, Ashley, if you had any questions, because I know that this is all very new to you, floor is yours. But my other question is, would Ashley be able to look at the property? Because I know that we all had a tour, but I didn't know
we can
if
arrange
it was open for her to at least take a look. So when we move forward and discuss it.
I'm happy to coordinate with Ashley where we can actually maybe hit a few things on the same day. If you have an afternoon that's free for you, I'm happy to do that.
Let's talk. Yeah, maybe
Okay.
a Wednesday after, if there's a Wednesday afternoon that works. I only work
We'll
morning.
make it, we'll make it
I would
work.
love, yeah, I would love to
If
see.
we just would go to a few different places and just make sure that you get caught up in the same way that the other committee members had a chance to go visit the different sites.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Diana.
Thank you.
Colin, did you have anything? We talked about Cranberry, the HVAC grant status, Norwalk High P-TECH, and then Sono. I'm just not sure what you missed or if you had any questions about anything.
No, I'm sorry I missed some of the updates, but I think that some of the questions that you, Diana, and Ashley asked were on my mind. So I think I'm good.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, I think we can move forward.
So we're asking you to actually authorize several things. And Bill, do you want to start with the items? Do you have them in front of you that we're asking for authorization on?
Yes, and thank you, Sandra. So we have 9 actionable items, and I'll speak to 8 of them. Dan will speak to the last one since it relates to South Norwalk project. So part of the closeout package when you go to the state for a new school or small to medium-sized projects is you need to, after you finish the work, you have to officially close it out and get approval by local authority. So what I have here is 7 underground or fuel storage tanks and 1 asbestos abatement project. So going over them real quickly, at Kendall and West Rocks, we removed tanks that were in the ground for many years. There was no contamination found, and they were already on natural gas. Those tanks have been removed off-site, and soil has been restored. At Fox Run, Wolf Pit, and Roten, we converted to gas to remove the tanks. There was no contamination. We had Eversource install free of charge a gas line to each one of these schools, and we converted the existing boilers from oil to gas. That was completed also. At Silvermont and Rowayton, we were not able to get gas there free of charge. They wanted $850,000 at I think it was at Silvermont, and $650,000 at Rowayton. Therefore, that was a game changer. We needed to remove the underground fuel storage tank. So as opposed to paying that large fee for gas, we instead installed above ground tanks. Each one of these tanks are 6,000 gallons. So you can imagine how much work this was. The one at Roten was actually double that size, 12,000. At Roten, we also did a second project. We did a 2-phase abatement project of the floor tile just this past summer and the summer before. So these projects are now closed. They are on the backup to tonight's meeting, and we are asking for approval of these to go to the full board, that when the closeout package goes and we ask for a reimbursement back from the state, they can see that the Board of Ed approved these projects as closed and there is no more work pending. So that's what you have here in front of you on those 8 projects.
You originally said Kendall and West Rocks, but it says Kendall and Nathan Hale. Just wanted to check.
I'm sorry. I always get them confused.
It's
It is
okay.
Nathan Hale.
Hale.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Nathan Hale.
Checking.
Yes, I even wrote
Thank you,
that
Ashley.
down too. Yes.
So do we want to approve these 8 first and then move on to the South Norwalk project separately?
It's up to you. How it, Dan had explained what it was with the South Norwalk project. Do you want him to explain again? So if you want to move them all together, that's fine. It's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, my thought was that we would move them all together. I didn't know if we
Sure.
were going to do any additional explanation on the last one for Sono. I didn't have any other questions around it. So I think if we would like to make a motion to move these to the full board, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Colin. All right, great. Motion approved.
We have to vote on,
Oh, yes, sorry, we need to vote on it. Let's take a vote on this. All those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Now we have approval to move it to the board.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure. And I think that is all we have this evening. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Second?
Second.
Thank you, and good night, everybody.
Thank
so
you,
much.
everyone.
And
Good
Ashley,
night.
please get in touch with me or I'll get in
Yes.
touch with you so I could give you a tour, okay?
Send you an email. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good
everybody.
night.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Take care.
Mhm.